Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is where we sift through, that mountain of health and nutrition research out there and really distill it down into the things you actually need to know, the usable, practical knowledge. And if you're tuning in today, you've likely been there. You've been in the trenches of diet culture.
Oh, for sure.
That feeling our source material today just nails. They describe it as living in a cardboard box, eating nothing but sadness and regret.
And that's not an exaggeration, is it? It's that cycle, that constant, exhausting cycle. You go all in, you're super restrictive, you see some results.
And then what?
And then you crash. 2 months later, you're right back where you started, maybe even feeling worse. It's the definition of diet fatigue.
Right. And the key thing, the thing we have to get straight from the beginning, is that it's not a failure of the person. It's a failure of the diet.
It is. The diet failed you. Most of these crash diets are... they're just structurally flawed. They ignore basic human biology. They ignore the fact that your metabolism will fight back against extreme restriction and that willpower. Well, willpower isn't infinite.
It's a battery that runs out.
Exactly. So any diet that's too complicated, too restrictive, or just joyless, it's literally designed to fail.
Okay, so that really sets the stage for our mission today. We're going to unpack an approach that tries to solve this exact problem. It takes a proven decades-old foundation and completely supercharges it.
Supercharges it with modern science. We're talking cutting-edge behavioral psychology, metabolic optimization, the works.
We are doing a deep dive into the philosophy and the structural framework laid out in the TheDietDocs book series, specifically their Weight Watchers Super Diet Revolution, which is framed as this complete 90-day transformation guide.
And we really have two main goals for you here. First, we need to get into the weeds of how they supercharge a foundation as well known as Weight Watchers. What's the science? What's the structure they're adding to make it permanent?
And the second goal.
The second, and this is almost as important as the nutrition itself, is analyzing the unique method of the TheDietDocs. How are they delivering this really complex, effective knowledge in a way that's fun and honest and practical for people with crazy busy lives?
Yeah, that mix of science and personality is, I think, the secret sauce here.
It's absolutely key to getting people to actually do it.
Okay, so let's start there. Let's start with that persona, because it's honestly the most refreshing part of this whole thing. It immediately sets them apart from, the sea of dry, condescending health books out there.
It really does. What's fascinating is how active a role they take in creating the environment for change. They don't just give you a list of rules. They come right out and embrace this unique persona. They call themselves the comedians of the nutrition world.
Which is such a great line.
It is. And they make a promise. They say they'll keep you entertained, maybe even laughing, while this whole transformation is happening.
Well, that's a huge psychological shift, right? I mean, dieting has always been tied to these feelings of shame and guilt and deprivation.
And if you fail, it's your fault. You didn't have enough willpower.
Exactly. So by injecting humor, they're stripping all of that away. They're making the whole process approachable, human.
Yeah.
They're basically saying, look, we know this is hard, but we don't have to be miserable doing it.
We're going to give you academically rigorous information, but we're going to make sure it doesn't feel like a 4-hour statistics lecture.
Right. And that transparency is tied directly to how they define themselves, which they're very careful about.
Meticulous, even. They are crystal clear. They are comedians with nutrition knowledge, not doctors. And this isn't just a funny line. It's a critical safety warning they put right at the front.
A non-negotiable.
Absolutely. They stress that even though this program is designed for massive health improvements, it is not a substitute for medical advice. If you have any pre-existing conditions, diabetes, high blood pressure, thyroid issues, anything, or you're on medication,
You have to talk to your doctor.
you must consult a licensed healthcare provider before you start something this significant. And that upfront honesty, that clarity, it builds a huge amount of trust right from page one.
And that trust feeds directly into what they call their keep it real philosophy, which is a total rejection of all the marketing hype you see in the health industry.
Oh, completely. They just dismiss it all out of hand. They say, we're not making false promises about losing 30 pounds in 30 days or other magical nonsense.
No magic beans here?
No. They're focused on sustainable, life-changing results, and that requires total transparency about what really works in human physiology and, just as importantly, what doesn't work, like extreme calorie cutting.
And why it doesn't work.
Yes, the why is crucial. They treat you like an intelligent adult. They avoid that condescending, oversimplified language you find in so many diet guides. They give you the full, complex picture, but they package it with wit and make it accessible. That intellectual respect it's incredibly engaging.
And that whole philosophy informs the program itself, which they call the super diet. They use this fantastic analogy to explain how it's different from, the classic Weight Watchers model.
I love this analogy. They describe the super diet as Weight Watchers' incredibly successful, overachieving cousin who went to Harvard, speaks 5 languages, somehow still has time to meal prep like a boss, and he looks fantastic doing it.
It's so vivid, it immediately tells you everything you need to know. They respect the original, but they've added layers of sophistication.
Right. Layers that are needed for our high-stress, high-information modern world. The goal here isn't just to lose weight, it's optimization.
And that really underscores the sheer scope of the system. This is a critical point. It is not just a book of recipes or a workout plan.
No, it's a complete holistic lifestyle transformation system. It's designed to eliminate all those common failure points that trip people up. They know you're juggling a job, a family, a million other things. You can't spend half your day weighing food or stuck in a gym.
The structural support they provide is what makes it possible. The book is so comprehensive, it moves you logically from the foundational science to the food you should be eating to specialized meal plans for pretty much any goal you can think of.
Fat loss, performance, you name it. And then they layer in advanced strategies for when you hit a plateau and, crucially, a really deep dive into the mindset piece, the forever protocol, as they call it.
So it's designed to work for someone who wants to lose 10 pounds for a wedding, but also for someone who needs to lose over 100 pounds for their health.
Exactly. It's scalable. And the focus is always, always on more than just the scale. We see this over and over in the source material.
Right, they're not just promising weight loss.
No, they're promising consistent energy without that 3 p.m. coffee crash. They're promising mental clarity, an end to that brain fog. They're promising undeniable strength, both physically and emotionally.
And genuine joy in eating again. That's a big
A
one.
huge one. And achieving a lifestyle that you're not constantly trying to escape from, that whole package is the real motivation. They're selling you the confidence that comes from operating at your absolute peak, not just a smaller dress size.
And that shift in focus from
Yes.
restriction to vitality. That feels revolutionary.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so let's get to the bedrock, the foundation that makes all of this possible. You don't call your program the Weight Watchers Super Diet Revolution if you don't respect the power of the original.
You definitely.
They're very clear. They didn't reinvent the wheel. They built on a foundation that's been proven successful since the 1960s, a system backed by decades of solid, peer-reviewed science. So for anyone listening who only vaguely knows Weight Watchers as that points thing, what are the core, timeless principles of the original program that we need to understand?
Okay, so there are 6 pillars that really explain the genius of the original WW and why it's stuck around while so many other fad diets have just disappeared. They cracked the human element of dieting.
Okay, what's pillar number 1?
The first one is sustainable calorie control. WW figured out early on that, weight loss is about a calorie deficit, but forcing people to count every single calorie it's a recipe for burnout and failure.
It's just too much mental energy.
It's exhausting. So they created a system, the points, that simplifies everything. It simplifies tracking calories and macros, giving you a sense of control without all the mind-numbing complexity.
Which flows right into the second pillar, which is balanced nutrition. This was way ahead of its time.
Decades ahead, you had all these diets based on eliminating entire food groups, no fat, no carbs. But WW always maintained that you needed a balanced approach.
Geez, you do. You need healthy fats for your hormones. You need good carbs for energy.
Precisamente. And honoring that basic physiological need is key for long-term adherence and just feeling good. You're not depriving your body of essential nutrients.
Okay, so control without complexity and balanced nutrition. What's number 3?
Number 3 is the absolute deal breaker for any long-term plan. Flexibility. This is what makes it a tool for life, not just a temporary diet.
Right. A plan that doesn't allow for a birthday party or a vacation is doomed.
It's designed to fail. Life happens. WW designed a system that was adaptable. It allows for those real-life moments. You can have a piece of cake, you just account for it within the framework. That freedom is so important psychologically.
Okay, the 4th pillar feels profoundly human. It's community support.
Yeah, this one is huge. The sources are so clear about this. Humans are social creatures. You can't do this alone in a cave. The original brilliance of Weight Watchers was building that community right into the structure.
The meetings.
The meetings, the shared struggle, the shared victories, the accountability, the emotional support. That social connection is the glue that makes the behavioral changes actually stick.
Which leads us right to the fifth pillar, and you could argue this is the most important one for making it permanent: the focus on behavioral change.
Yes, this is the real game changer. They weren't just focused on what you eat. They were digging into the why, the emotional triggers, the environmental cues, the habits that lead you to eat in the first place.
It's about rewiring your brain, not just changing your plate.
Exactly. And that focus on lasting habit shifts is the bridge to that forever protocol we were talking about.
Okay, and the sixth and final pillar.
Long-term thinking. WW never sold itself as a quick fix. It was always about establishing lifelong habits. The weight loss part is just phase one. The TheDietDocs have absolutely honored this, which is why their program has such a comprehensive maintenance plan built in.
So those are the 6 pillars, but
Yeah.
we have to address the elephant in the room for the modern user.
The app.
The app.
Yeah.
And the calculator and the whole digital ecosystem. Modern Weight Watchers is so tied to its proprietary tools. The calculator that translates food into points, the app for tracking, the member login for the community. How does a static book, the TheDietDocs book, deliver that same level of precision and support?
That is a very legitimate question. In the modern WW system, that calculator is the brain of the operation. You put in the food, it spits out the points, it does the heavy lifting. If the Super Diet book doesn't have a login or a calculator, how does it manage that complexity?
Right. How do you get that precision?
Okay, so the way the source material explains it is that the book's structure essentially replaces the function of the app and the calculator. It absorbs the complexity up front so you don't have to deal with it day to day.
So instead of you inputting data, the data is pre-sorted for you.
Exactly. Think of it this way. The digital tools offer customization through your constant input. The book offers precision through a pre-calculated, curated structure.
Give me an example.
Okay, so the need to calculate points for every meal just disappears. Why? Because the authors have already done it. They provide what they call a detailed 90-day meal plan masterpiece.
Work a bold title.
It is, but it's backed up. We're talking 270 different, perfectly balanced meals that are already optimized for everything we're going to talk about. Metabolic health, calorie control, nutrient density. You don't have to sit there figuring out the points value of 4 ounces of salmon versus 6 or how many almonds you can have.
The decisions are already made. It removes the decision fatigue.
It completely removes it. The data is pre-digested and handed to you as a plug-and-play solution. I mean, the sample days in the source material are incredibly specific. It's not just eat some protein for breakfast.
No, it's protein-packed overnight oats with berries and chia seeds.
Right. And for lunch, grilled chicken salad with a balsamic vinaigrette and quinoa. And for dinner, baked wild-caught salmon with sweet potato wedges and steamed asparagus. There is zero room for error or calculation burnout.
That's a staggering amount of organizational work.
Yeah.
And it also addresses the personalization aspect that the app handles, right?
It does. They offer specialized meal plans for specific goals. So if your goal is rapid fat loss, you follow one track. If it's building muscle or optimizing brain health, there are different pre-calculated plans customized for those specific physiological needs.
And what about the really advanced stuff? Things like intermittent fasting or carb cycling. Those usually require super precise tracking with an app.
And they've built those right into the structure as well. They provide detailed plans for how to integrate these advanced strategies without you needing a PhD in nutrition to figure it out. They are essentially acting as your high-level administrative assistant, but in book form.
So you're still encouraged to use apps for simple things, like tracking your water intake or your workout.
Yes, the source mentions that. Use tech for the simple stuff. But the core burden, the complex nutritional organization, is handled by the book's structure. It massively lowers the barrier to entry. You're consuming pre-optimized information instead of constantly having to input raw data.
The goal is simplicity and clarity. To get the precision you need for these metabolic upgrades we're about to discuss, but without the user burning out on the admin.
That is the key takeaway. And again, this whole structure is designed for results beyond weight loss. We have to keep saying that. It's designed to improve your energy, your focus, your mood, all the non-scale victories that actually keep you motivated for the long haul.
That makes perfect sense. The foundation is WW's behavioral genius. The mechanism for precision is the book's intense structure.
Okay, let's get to the fun part, the super part. What are the modern, cutting-edge science upgrades that take this proven model to the next level?
All right, so we've identified 4 major physiological upgrades that really make this the super diet. The first one is a biggie. It tackles the #1 enemy of long-term weight loss, Metabolic optimization.
Okay, let's really dig into this because this is where almost every diet fails. We all know the pattern. You cut your calories way too low, your body freaks out.
It thinks there's a famine? Exactly. Goes into starvation mode. And it slams the brakes on your metabolism. You feel tired, you feel cold, and eventually the weight loss just stops.
And that is a direct, predictable result of ignoring your body's metabolic signals. The super diet's whole approach is designed to keep those metabolic fires burning hot.
Yeah. What are the mechanisms?
There are 5 primary science-backed ways they do this. First, and this sounds counterintuitive, they ensure you're eating adequate calories, enough food to signal to your body that it's safe, that there is no famine. This prevents that slide into starvation mode while still maintaining a gentle deficit for fat loss.
So you're not pushing the panic button.
You're not. Your body has to trust you. Second, they strategically use metabolism-boosting foods and nutrients.
What does that mean exactly?
We're talking about things that increase thermogenesis, that's the heat your body produces, which burns calories. So things like lean protein, which takes more energy to digest, fiber, capsaicin from chili peppers, certain compounds in green tea. They're woven into the meal plans to give you a small, constant metabolic advantage.
Okay, what about nutrient timing? I feel like I hear so many conflicting things about when you should eat.
That brings us to the third mechanism, timing your nutrients for the best metabolic response. This means things like front-loading your protein and fiber earlier in the day to keep your blood sugar stable. It also means timing your complex carbs, say after a workout or in the evening, to help with recovery and sleep. It's not just about what you eat, but making sure the right fuel arrives when the engine is most receptive to it.
And we can't talk about metabolism without talking about the thyroid.
And that's number 4, robust thyroid support. The thyroid is the master regulator, so the program makes sure you're getting plenty of the key micronutrients it needs to function. Selenium from Brazil nuts, iodine, an amino acid called tyrosine. These are all critical for producing thyroid hormones.
Okay, and the 5th mechanism.
This one might be the most valuable for long-term success, maintaining and building muscle mass. This is done through adequate protein intake and resistance exercise.
Right, because muscle is metabolically active tissue. It's like metabolic gold.
It is. I mean, a pound of fat burns maybe 2 or 3 calories a day just sitting there. A pound of muscle can burn 50 calories or more, even at rest.
So you're essentially installing a 247 internal calorie-burning furnace.
That is the perfect way to describe it. And this leads directly to the second major upgrade, which really governs the success of the first one, hormonal balance.
Because you can fix your metabolism, but if your hormones are out of whack and screaming at you to eat sugar all day,
You're set up for failure. You're fighting a battle you can't win. This system is designed to make sure your body's chemistry is working with you, not against you.
let's break down the key hormones they target. The source lists 5. Let's start with the big one, insulin.
Right. Insulin is your main storage hormone. When you're constantly eating refined carbs and sugar, your blood sugar spikes, and your body pumps out insulin. Over time, your cells can become less responsive to it, that's insulin resistance, and your body gets really, really good at storing fat, especially around your belly.
So how does the program fix that?
It optimizes your insulin sensitivity by focusing on low glycemic, high fiber carbs and always pairing them with protein and healthy fats to prevent those big spikes. It keeps your blood sugar stable all day long.
Okay, what about the hunger hormones? The constant battle between feeling hungry and feeling full.
Ah, yes, leptin and ghrelin. Ghrelin is the one that makes your stomach growl. It's the go hormone for hunger. Leptin is the opposite. It's made by your fat cells, and it tells your brain, hey, we're full, you can stop eating now.
And crash dieting messes those up, right?
It destroys them. When you drastically cut calories, you suppress leptin, so you feel hungry all the time. The super diet supports healthy leptin function by, again, ensuring adequate calories, high-quality fats, and this is a big one, optimizing your sleep, because leptin is regulated while you rest. Ghrelin is managed by eating plenty of protein and fiber, which physically fill you up.
And then there's the ultimate stealth saboteur of modern life.
Yeah.
Stress. Cortisol.
Cortisol. It's a major driver of visceral fat storage. When you're under chronic stress, your body is flooded with cortisol, and it signals your body to store fat fast because it thinks a crisis is coming.
How does a diet plan address stress?
through anti-inflammatory eating, which we'll get to,
Yeah.
and also by encouraging stress reduction practices. The book even gets into specific nutrients and adaptogens like ashwagandha that can help your body better modulate its stress response. It's a really holistic approach.
And finally, that brings us back to the thyroid.
It does. It all ties together. A healthy thyroid isn't just about weight. It dictates your energy, your mood, your body temperature. By focusing on those key micronutrients, selenium, iodine, tyrosine, they're making sure the entire engine is running efficiently. This hormonal optimization is what makes the diet feel easier. It's less of a struggle.
Okay, so that brings us to upgrade number 3, micronutrient density. This is where the super diet really pulls away from older approaches that just focused on calories or macros.
It's a huge shift. It's no longer enough to just hit your protein goal for the day. You have to maximize the nutritional payload of every single calorie you eat.
That's about quality.
It's all about quality. Every meal in this plan is designed to be packed with high-value components: vitamins and minerals for energy and cell repair, antioxidants to fight aging, phytonutrients from plants that help prevent disease.
And they specifically leverage fiber and healthy fats, too.
Non-negotiable. Fiber for gut health and feeling full. Healthy fats from things like avocados, nuts, olive oil are absolutely critical for brain function and making hormones.
And this intense focus on nutrient quality is the primary weapon against inflammation, right? The inflammation connection.
It is. We now know that chronic low-grade inflammation is a huge barrier to weight loss. It puts your body in a constant state of alert, which promotes insulin resistance and fat storage. You cannot achieve lasting health if you don't put out that fire.
So how does the program do it?
2 ways. First, they load you up with anti-inflammatory foods. We're talking omega-3s from wild-caught salmon, antioxidant-rich berries, powerful spices like turmeric and ginger. At the same time, they have you strictly avoid pro-inflammatory foods. That means getting rid of excess sugar, refined carbs like white bread, trans fats, and artificial junk.
The food lists in the book are basically the arsenal, then.
That's a great way to put it. It's about embracing protein powerhouses, not just chicken, but lentils, grass-fed beef. It's about championing the right carbs, sweet potatoes, quinoa, steel-cut oats. It's truly about using food as medicine.
Okay, so that brings us to the final upgrade. Number 4, personalization and adaptability. This tackles that one-size-fits-all problem that causes so many diets to fail.
Right, because even with a super structured 90-day plan, real life requires you to be able to modify things.
But wait. If the plan is so structured, 270 pre-calculated meals, how do you adapt it? How does it maintain that WW principle of flexibility?
The adaptation is built in through clear guidance on how to scale and substitute. For example, there are specific modifications based on your activity levels. If you're sitting at a desk all day, your carb needs are different from someone who's training for a marathon.
What about dietary preferences?
They've got that covered. There's guidance for vegetarian or vegan substitutions that maintain the same nutritional balance. They also provide detailed modifications for common health conditions or for people with food allergies and intolerances. You're not left guessing how to swap out gluten or dairy. They give you a structured framework for it.
And the plan has to be scalable for different weight loss goals.
Absolutely. Someone trying to lose 10 pounds has different needs than someone trying to lose 100. The plan includes specific instructions on how to scale portions up or down. This is what turns it from a rigid short-term diet into a dynamic, lifelong protocol that you can adapt as your life and body change.
Before we move on, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
The integration of advanced strategies like intermittent fasting and
Yeah.
keto. Keto seems to fly in the face of the balanced nutrition principle of Weight Watchers. It's extremely restrictive. How do they integrate that without just throwing the foundation out the window?
That is an excellent question, and it's a key example of the supercharged approach. They don't use these as permanent lifestyles. They use them as tactical tools.
Tools for what?
Primarily for breaking through plateaus. For example, they might integrate intermittent fasting as a 168 model, where you eat in an 8-hour window. This isn't for extreme calorie restriction. It's used to improve insulin sensitivity and just simplify meal timing. It fits right into the existing structure.
And keto.
The source suggests they use a cyclical or targeted keto approach. This means you might follow a very low-carb, high-fat plan for a very short defined period, maybe a week or two, to reset some metabolic pathways and bust through a stubborn plateau. Then you cycle right back to the standard balanced super diet plan.
So it's a strategic weapon, not a long-term war.
Exactly. They're leveraging the metabolic advantage of ketosis without forcing you into the unsustainable restriction that ultimately makes people fail. It's strategy, not dogma. That nuance is the definition of a supercharged system.
Okay, this is so important. Managing expectations is at least half the battle in any transformation.
Yep.
Burnout often comes from impatience, from not knowing what's supposed to happen next.
It really does. And the diet docs seem to understand this perfectly. They provide a very clear 90-day roadmap, which is a powerful psychological tool in itself.
That roadmap is vital.
Yeah.
The body doesn't change in a straight line. By laying out this transformation timeline, they set realistic expectations and they prevent you from giving up when that initial rapid weight loss inevitably slows down.
Right. They're coaching you through the process.
So let's walk through it. What should you expect to feel and see? Let's start with weeks 1, 2, the foundation phase. This sounds like the tough part.
It is and it isn't. They manage expectations really well. Yes, you should expect to have more energy and feel less bloated as you cut out all the processed junk, but you also have to be ready for that initial adjustment period. You might have some minor headaches or feel a bit tired as your body detoxes from sugar.
But you get a big win here too.
You do. You get that first, often significant drop on the scale, maybe 3 to 7 pounds. They're honest that a lot of this is water weight and inflammation going down, but it's incredibly motivating. And, crucially, your taste buds actually start to change.
Then we get to weeks 3, 4, the momentum phase. This is where things start to click into place.
This is when the changes become undeniable. Your clothes are fitting better. You're not just feeling more energetic. You're sleeping more deeply. Your mental clarity is way up. And because of the metabolic optimization, your workouts actually feel easier.
That progress acts as a powerful reinforcement.
A huge reinforcement. It fuels the motivation to keep going.
Okay, so the middle of the journey, weeks 5, 8, the acceleration phase. This is where they say the magic really happens.
This is the high reward period. You'll see the most significant, consistent fat loss. You'll start to see muscle definition. Your energy levels will feel like they did years ago. And the psychological impact here is huge because this is when other people start to notice.
The external validation. Wow, you look great. What are you doing?
Exactly. And that external reinforcement really helps to cement the new habits. It moves them from being conscious choices to becoming automatic.
And that leads to the final stage, weeks 9, 12, the mastery phase. The 90-day finish line is in sight.
By this point, the transformation is essentially complete. The new habits, prepping your meals, getting your movement in, staying hydrated, they don't take effort anymore. They're just what you do.
Your identity has shifted.
It has. Your confidence is, as they say, through the roof, and you transition from just being a follower of the plan to being an expert in your own body. You become an inspiration to the people around you. The system has successfully created a new, sustainable template for your life.
That idea of automaticity brings us to the psychological toolkit. Chapter 7, the mindset chapter, is where the diet docs really lean into being the comedians of nutrition, and they tackle the single most frustrating part of dieting, the willpower myth.
They just come right out and say it. Diets fail because they depend on willpower, and willpower is finite. It's a muscle that gets tired. You make decisions all day long at work, with your kids. By 8 p.m., that muscle is exhausted. You cannot rely on it to resist a pint of ice cream.
You have to bypass it.
You have to bypass it entirely.
Yeah.
Which is why the structure of the program, the 90-day timeline, is so smart. It's based on real science.
Right. Habit formation science.
Exactly. They cite the research showing that it takes, on average, about 66 days to form a new habit for it to become automatic. So the 90-day structure gives you that buffer to make sure those new neural pathways in your brain are solid. The whole program is designed to build these new habits through repetition and reward.
Let's talk about those rewards. They're very intentional about leveraging brain chemistry, about giving you consistent dopamine hits to keep you hooked. How do they do that?
They essentially turn the process into a game you can win. First, by giving you frequent small wins, hitting your water goal for the day, mastering a new recipe. Each one is a little dopamine hit.
The food itself is a reward too.
It has to be. That's the second point. The food is delicious and satisfying. It completely counteracts that sadness and regret model of dieting. Third is the visible progress, tracking your clothes fitting better, your energy being higher. That's hugely rewarding feedback. And fourth, they have structured achievement milestones that give you concrete points to celebrate.
And all of that internal validation leads to what I think is the most profound mindset shift in the whole program, the identity-based approach. This goes so far beyond just setting a goal.
This is the absolute core of making it permanent. Instead of focusing on the goal, I want to lose 20 pounds, you shift your focus to the identity you're trying to build. I'm a person who prioritizes my long-term health.
And every action you take is a vote for that identity.
Every single action. Choosing the salad over the fries isn't about restriction anymore. It's about acting in a way that's consistent with who you believe you are, a healthy, strong, vital person. When a choice becomes an expression of your identity, you don't need willpower to make it.
It just becomes the natural default choice. If you see yourself as a healthy person, you don't skip your workout, because
No.
that's not what healthy people do. It's inconsistent with who you are.
Precisely. And this deep psychological work is woven throughout the mindset chapters. They talk about cognitive reframing, changing your negative self-talk. They talk about environmental design, setting up your home and office so the healthy choice is the easy choice. And they really emphasize self-compassion, knowing that you're going to have off days, and that's okay. It's not a moral failing.
That mental preparation is what makes the Forever Protocol possible. Okay, before we wrap up, we have to give the full reality check. The pros and cons, which the Diet Docs are very open about.
They are.
We've covered the benefits, the sustainable weight loss, the energy, the better sleep, the reduced inflammation. But what are the real, honest challenges that someone starting this needs to be prepared for?
They maintain that transparency right to the end. We've already mentioned the initial adjustment detox period. That first week or two can be a little rough, and you just need to know that going in and trust the process.
And the structure, while it's a huge benefit, also demands a certain level of discipline, especially at the start.
Absolutely. Meal planning is required. This is not a casual, I'll figure it out as I go diet. The success of those 270 balanced meals depends on you committing to shopping and prepping. It's a significant time investment, especially on the weekends. But that prep work is your insurance policy for a successful week.
And then there's the outside world.
The social challenges are very real. You're going to face pressure from friends and family who might not get it. They emphasize that you have to learn how to politely but firmly navigate those situations without compromising your goals. That emotional strength you build becomes so important.
And there's the practical reality of time and money.
Yes, there is a time investment for the cooking and planning. And while they argue that investing in quality food is cheaper in the long run than medical bills, there can be an initial financial bump when you switch from cheap processed foods to high-quality ingredients.
And finally, the learning curve.
Right. You have to be ready for the learning curve of absorbing all this new information, and you have to be ready for plateau periods. Weight loss is never a straight line down. The scale will get stuck. And the program prepares you for that, teaching you to shift your focus to non-scale victories, like lifting heavier or having more stamina to stay motivated through those dips. So if we synthesize all of this for you, the key takeaway is that the super diet revolution is this brilliant fusion of the best of the old and the best of the new. It proves that sustainable, life-changing weight management is not about some crazy restrictive counting system that makes you miserable.
And it's not about relying on willpower that you just don't have at the end of a long day.
Not at all. It's about intelligently layering those 6 timeless behavior-based principles from Weight Watchers. You know, the calorie control, the balance, the flexibility, the community, the habit formation, and the long-term thinking.
And then supercharging them.
Supercharging them with the 4 pillars of modern science: metabolic health, hormonal balance, micronutrient density, and those sophisticated psychological strategies. That combination creates a system that's effective, resilient, and actually enjoyable.
And what makes this approach so revolutionary and why that comedian persona is so critical is how they deliver it. They give you this high-level, complex knowledge, but through a voice that's engaging, transparent, and funny. They treat you like a smart adult who's ready for a complete system.
And they give you the organizational precision of a high-tech app through the structure of the book itself, but without any of the daily administrative burnout.
The ultimate goal is that transition to the Forever Protocol. True success is when health isn't a temporary project anymore. It's just who you are. It becomes the most important investment they'll ever make.
You are meticulously building a highly optimized vehicle to carry you through the rest of your life. It's a profound shift.
And on that note, here's our final thought for you to take away. And this builds directly on the powerful closing message in the source material. It's this idea of the ripple effect of transformation. The decision you make today, right now, to invest in your own health. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. It doesn't just change the number on your scale. That one decision starts a chain reaction. It profoundly changes the lives of everyone around you.
That's a powerful thought.
It is. Your kids see you making healthy choices, and that becomes their normal. Your partner is inspired by your energy. Your friends start asking you for advice because they see the change in you. You're not just transforming your own body. You become a force for positive change in your entire social circle. You end up creating this legacy of health that extends so far beyond just you.
So the biggest vote you cast for the person you want to become is by improving the world immediately around you, starting with yourself.
Exactly. Go out there and make that choice. We'll be cheering for you.